Okay, boys and girls, as promised, I'm making a small video of a few small, we're going to look at more, but a few small Excel functions that we need to look at. Now, we've seen this data in class, and as we discussed, it's very complicated to look at, right? I mean, it's numbers and so many numbers, but we want to do a few calculations with these numbers. So let's look at the first formula, and anything in Excel that you want to compute as a calculation must always start with equals. Everyone, equals. And sometimes Google Sheets will give us a recommendation. For example, in this scenario, it's asking us, would you like to do sum or average? Well, since I'm talking to you guys about addition, we're going to do the equation sum, S-U-M, open brackets, and I highlight the data that I want. I am doing addition to find out the total number of active troops in the world. Active troops in the world. As of 2019, there are 14,748,000 active troops. Notice it's measured in thousands, meaning all of these have 3 zeros at the very end. Yeah. Now we're also given the information of the total number of countries that we collected, rank. But let's say we weren't given that, and I want to know how many countries are being represented here. I can give the equation of count brackets to determine how many people participated and highlight the data. Close brackets, count, equals. And obviously we should get 30, exactly what we're given by the rank. But let's say I want to work out the average. You guys worked out with Herman that the average is adding all the numbers together and dividing it by the number of participants. This should give us the average, if I do equals, the addition of everything, slash, which means division, divided by the total number of participants, should give me the average, 49.6. Interesting, because let's say I want to actually put an equation to the average. Well, guess what? There is an equation for the average. It's equals average, open brackets, and as always, highlight the data. C5 to C34. Yeah, C34 is where Taiwan is, and that's the last one that we have. Close the brackets, click enter, and surprise, surprise, we have the exact same number as above. Very interesting. But how do we do multiplication, teacher? Well, let's say, of the total number of troops in the world, I want 5% of them to travel to Australia to help with some forest fire. Let's just say I want 5% of all the troops in the world I want to purchase for a private army or whatever. But notice how a percentage form must always have a full stop. Yeah, it must always be in a decimal format to have a percentage form. And to do a percentage, I can do equals 5%, as we have right here in C39, 5%, 0.05, star, meaning multiply, by the total number of troops to give me 737.4. 5% of the total number of troops is 737.4. Okay, let's go through some of those applications again. For addition, I must always do n equals, type in SUM to mean addition, open brackets, I click on one number in one cell, comma. I click on the other number in the other cell, close brackets, enter. Sometimes Google Sheets will say, do you want to apply this to all the cells? Sometimes. And you can say yes. But in the case like this, where it doesn't give us that option, there's always this very small little square. And guess how cool this is? I don't want to do all the additions of that. I just have to do the formula. And I drag this down. Ha-ha! Magic! Look at that. I'm dragging where the small square is. The small square. And as you can see, each one of these is a formula related to the next. So formula from these two was applied to all the other cells. So, once again, equals sum, one cell, comma, the other cell. But teacher, what if we want to do division? Division. Well, as always, equals, no matter what. Excel, you want to work something out, always do an equals. You won't be able to calculate anything without an equals. Equals, I click on the cell for defense expenditure to work out how much does a country spend on one soldier. I click on one cell, divide, which is denoted by the slash, and I click on the total troops for war. Enter. And once again, Google did not give us the option, so we're going to drag that little box down, and it gives us all the calculations. Notice the problem here. North Korea does not report any numbers, and that's why NA is placed. You cannot do a division with letters. So therefore, this cell must also read not applicable. Yeah? Because you cannot do a division with letters. You must always have numbers. And unfortunately, North Korea does not report any numbers. Let's try one more time. And as you can see, we have now the defense expenditure per troop. Wow. Vietnam spends very little on each troop, whilst countries like USA spend way too much on one troop, or Saudi Arabia, who spends way too much on one troop. Yeah? So this is very useful to determine, yeah, a ratio by doing division. Let's revise one more time how to do addition. Sum, open brackets, and I can highlight data by clicking on it and dragging it. Close brackets, enter. Well, Excel has not given us the formulas, the options, so we're going to have to drag that box down. And as we drag down, oh, look at that, magic! And once again, we're going to find a division. How much does the government spend on on each, like on a tank, on a submarine, on a combat? How much do they spend based off of what they have in their artillery? Submarines, tanks, aircraft. We can do equals the total number of aircraft divided by defense expenditure, enter, and look at this. Now we're given, the suggested editing. And as always, North Korea does not report any expenditures, so we have to put in A. Interesting, because some countries, they have 0, denoted by having no artillery, like Mexico. Yeah. Now in class, we also took a look at how to make graphs. Take a look at this. When I make a graph, I do not highlight the titles. No. I only highlight the data I want, which means China, the numbers, and the countries. Everyone. Only the data. Do not include the titles because it will confuse Google Sheets. Only the data, And then there should be this little button right here of Insert Chart. I can click on Insert Chart and check it out. Active troops, and I can. That's why I said don't highlight the title of country, because you can always adjust for it right here. And boom, very straightforward, making a graph in Excel. Yeah, you just had to click a button and highlight only the data. But let's say, for example, I like that graph. That's a very good graph. But let's say I want to get something else. How do we tell Google to make something else for us? Well, unfortunately that time it thought we wanted a bar chart. But let's say I want to get a pie chart to denote the percentages. Once again, I can click on the chart. I can then go to column chart, yeah, and I can look at the various different types. Let's say I want to get a pie chart to denote the countries and their active troops as a percentage. Yeah. Right here in chart style, you always have on setup, you always have a lot of options in Google Sheets. The one you're going to be focusing on is scatter. But notice that I can even make, I can even make more different types of charts by highlighting data, as we just did. Let's say I want to highlight, there we go, highlight this. Yeah, and then I'm going to create a different type of chart. And this time I'm going to create, look at this, a geo chart. This should be very interesting. Look at that. Awesome. You see how cool Google Sheets and Excel can be? It can be extremely useful, because doing this with pencil and paper, you will spend a very long time. But in less than 12 minutes, we managed to fill in the data and create 3 different charts. Very, very useful information. We are going to see more Excel, but this is just an introductory video to 3 formulas that are very important. Addition, if you will recall, equals sum. Highlight the data. Average equals average. Highlight the data. Count equals count. Highlight the data. And to calculate multiplications, you have to use the star symbol. And to do divisions, you have to, as we have right here, use a slash. We're going to be doing a lot of this. If you guys need help, I'm always available. Take care, and we'll see each other in class. Ciao, ciao.